Hello everyone, today I'm going to be presenting my EDI presentation, which is over trichinosis. Okay, perfect. So trichinosis is the infection of nematodes in the digestive tract. The nematodes are under the genus Trichinella. There are 5 recorded species. So there's T. spiralis, which is found in the meat in carnivorous and omnivorous animals. T. pseudospiralis, which is specific to birds. T. nativa, which is specific to Arctic bears. T. britovi, which is found specifically in predators common to Western Asia and Europe. And also T. morelli, which is specific to wild game and carnivorous animals. This species is responsible for the first recorded outbreak in the United States. So basically, they're just like a parasitic worm that are found in the digestive tract of animals that they infect, and they can also infect humans. So this is a photo of one of the nematodes. I believe it's embedded in the muscle or the digestive tract. I'm not quite sure, but they kind of encapsulate themselves. And as you can see there in the photo, that is what this is doing. It's encapsulating itself into a little ball so that it can be embedded in the muscle fibers of its hosts. So I'm going to explain the chain of infection of trichinosis, how it spreads from host to host, and how you are able to receive it and transmit it. So first, with the infectious agent, the host ingests raw or undercooked meat from wild game, boar that contains the trichinella larvae. Now, the next step is the reservoir. So the nematode larvae dissolve in the stomach acid once they enter the digestive tract. So basically what happens is they're in the little capsules, like a hardened capsule or a shell, and the stomach acid will basically break down the capsule, and then the larvae will come out. So the portal of exit, the nematodes travel through arteries of the host to the cardiovascular system and into the muscular system. So they'll travel in the bloodstream and then embed themselves into the muscles of the host. And so once they encapsulate themselves inside those muscles, the new host, so if you shoot some wild game, or you go hunting and you happen to kill a wild animal and eat raw or undercooked meat from the wild animal, like wild game such as like cougars, bears, etc., you will ingest the parasite that are present in the infected animal, and that's the portal of entry. And now you are a susceptible host, so it'll root itself in your digestive tract, essentially. So next I'm going to explain the symptoms. So typically the initial symptoms are pretty mild. So they're often passed off as food poisoning because it's symptoms like fever, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and vomiting. So a lot of times, like after you eat whatever you eat, so like pork, the wild game, it's like, oh, I have food poisoning, I'll get over it. However, after 1 to 2 weeks after the larvae enter the host, the symptoms will manifest into a persisting fever, headache, fatigue, face edema, and then also in some serious or more serious cases, it will also present itself through symptoms of myalgia. So that is essentially like the inflammation, I believe, of or like the flare-ups of like your muscles and nerves. So prevalence from 2011 to 2016, there are about an average of 16 cases reported to the CDC each year. The first case of trichinosis was reported by the U.S. Public Health Service in the 1940s. There's about 400 cases, and those cases were reported on average per year. So there are about 400 cases of trichinosis per year. Pork products are the main source of spreading infection. From 1975 to 1981, there were about 750 cases reported from pork products. So meanwhile, there are only about 200 cases reported from other causes. In the United States, however, the first recorded outbreak of trichinosis was in November 2008 in Humboldt, California. So this was the second recorded outbreak worldwide, and the first in the United States. So the outbreak was caused by the consumption of wild black bear at a local gathering in the community. Out of the 38 individuals at the event, 29 cases of trichinosis were confirmed. The median age of those affected was 34 years old, and 21 of the 29 cases were male. So for this outbreak, the attack rate was 78% out of those who consumed the meat, with 100% of those who consumed raw or undercooked meat. And so basically what that is saying, that there's a 78% attack rate for those who like consume the meat itself, and then if you consume the raw or the undercooked meat, it was a attack rate of 100%. And if you basically also from this, it was concluded that if you ate raw or undercooked meat from this outbreak, you're 3 times more likely to develop a case of trichinosis. And then the species of trichinella found in the meat was the T. morelli, as it was discovered in a parasitological investigation by the CDC. So basically, the CDC, they sent the muscle of the black bear off to the CDC, and the CDC did an investigation dissecting it, and they did find that there was the presence of T. morelli or trichinella. Worldwide, every year there are about 10,000 reported cases of trichinosis. Many European and Asian countries are affected by the disease due to the consumption of wild game and carnivorous animals. So Poland has an average incidence of 0.02 per 100,000 people. I apologize for that. The country, Poland itself, has reported 37 cases over 4 year span of 2016 to 2020. The infection is often caused by the consumption of wild boar in densely forested areas. However, safer handling practices and the commercialization of wild boar has helped decrease those cases. So for prevention, the education and practice of safe food handling is the #1 prevention of trichinosis. The safest measure is purchasing and utilizing a food thermometer. This always ensures that pork, wild game, and other meat is cooked to the proper internal temperature. And as far as hygiene goes, washing your hands before and after handling raw or undercooked meats is always a staple. Excuse me. And also clean any utensils or meat grinders efficiently and regularly with the proper products. Also refrain from feeding pig carcasses or animal carcasses to pigs and other animals as they can ingest the parasites. Also, do not um, freeze your own pork. Please freeze or buy pork that's already been frozen. Do not try to freeze your own pork at home. That will also give you an increased risk of trichinosis. And also, do not feed like I don't know. Just don't get this because it sounds horrendous. And then these were my references for my presentation.